How many discounts does USAA Auto Insurance offer? Too many to say here. Multi-vehicle discount, safe driver discount, new vehicle discount, storage discount, legacy.
How many discounts will you stack up? Visit USAA.com/auto discounts. Restrictions apply.
Brooks Running reminds us that we're all powered by something. Whether it's the me-time energy of a run after a day at the office, the electrifying energy of your first marathon, or the infectious energy of a group run with your friends. No matter what energy powers you, Brooks has gear specifically designed to unleash it. So lace up and let it out. Let's run there. Visit brooksrunning.com today to learn more.
Vitamin Water Zero Sugar has great taste, zero BS, and obviously zero sugar. For those with zero room in their calendar, zero patience for slow walkers, those who get 0 hours of sleep on a Saturday night, have zero filter, zero given, and zero interest in grabbing a plain, boring water. Grab a delicious Vitamin Water Zero Sugar today.
Brace the rudders! Raise the sails! Raise the sails!
Captain, an unidentified ship is approaching. Over.
Roger. Wait, is that an enterprise sales solution?
Reach sales professionals, not professional sailors. With LinkedIn ads, you can target the right people by industry, job title, and more. We'll even give you a $100 credit on your next campaign. Get started today at linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply.
Hi, this is Tony Ruggiero here on the Tour Coach. If you're looking to get better at coaching, teaching, or playing the game of golf, you're in the right spot. I'm about to take you behind the scenes, inside the ropes, with all of the people I meet on my journey in the game of golf that are here to shed some experiences and shed some information that's going to help your journey improve and get better. Get ready. Let's go. Let's get better. And joining me here on the Tour Coach podcast from New York City, who'd have thought we'd come in to do one of these New York 5-iron golf, their first teaching summit. I thought it was awesome today. Great job, by the way.
Yeah, you too. No, it was good. It was. It shows that there's a couple of there's a lot of seminars out there.
Yeah.
But there's a definite, sort of couple spaces that haven't been done.
I thought this was good, showcasing indoor golf. And Mike and I'd come up with the idea. You and I'd talked a year or so ago. I wanted to do something with the Dew Sweepers and do that and bring in, people that I like, that I think have good information. And, when Mike and I talked, I said, Brian, I thought it would be great. And I was appreciative to get the invite. But let's talk a little bit about, we touched on it up there. And you're always good for this type of conversation, but the fads that are out there, like, things that, let's talk a little bit about that stuff going on there.
Well,
and I'm curious your thoughts on the, like the stuff where, like, recently, one camp of people is getting crazy negative about another. I don't know that that's necessarily all great for us and our business, but curious your thoughts on that.
The first thing I would say is that this is the first period of time ever, right, that you could become a well-known golf teacher without really teaching anybody worth a damn. Possible.
I agree with that. I think that's bad.
Well, it's obviously not good, right? That's how you're getting some of this stuff. You're getting some of this stuff here that's, you look at it and you go, what is the percentage of people that there's, I'm not saying anything reasonably demonstrated can obviously be done, and somebody might do it better, right?
Right.
It doesn't make it something you want to put out there for everybody without a disclaimer. But this stuff is going out without a disclaimer.
No, I agree.
99% of the time, right?
I said to somebody here today, it used to be, I thought, most teachers came up under somebody, right? People they did work their ass off.
So you would have somebody in a very, maybe not nice way, but not in front of the whole world.
Right.
Hey, Tony, that stunk, right? Because you're a mentor, and Ben Doyle, my man,
they did it.
Hank and Ben would have 100% saw something they didn't like and told us, immediately.
Immediately.
And put us like, we're trying to help now. Like you told, like you said, like tough love. But nowadays, and we try to mentor as many people as we can because we were mentors, right? But there's a whole lot of people out there that are teaching golf that they may have learned from somebody and they just branched off, but they really didn't have anybody to like
bring them up.
Oh yeah, bring them up. You know, when they say you're raising a kid, it's a real thing, right?
Right.
Raising a kid and raising a teacher. It's not done. And the problem is that anybody can take their phone out and look at something and they go, well, I saw it on I
saw it on YouTube, or
I saw it on YouTube or Instagram, and then, you know, in my particular case, I had, we had this, kinetics war for 10 years,
right?
Which wasn't just a pain in my booty. It somewhat stifled all instruction conversation. So now all of a sudden that, it's going on so long that it's not really
doesn't seem as heated as
it doesn't seem as heated because it's all the heated's under the table and behind the door.
Right.
But it doesn't matter. On the internet, it's not. So therefore, now you have a little breathing room for some conversation, and the conversation we're getting is the conversation we were talking about 10 years ago before all this stuff started. It's like it didn't die. Some of this stuff don't die.
What hadn't died?
There's stuff that doesn't die, and why? Here's the simple thing: if you're teaching a pattern, I don't want to hear system. If you're teaching a pattern, and you're teaching this pattern pretty much to everybody the same way, and I'm realizing people are swinging like this. I get it. They're looking like this, and I understand. I've been doing this 43 years, so you're not getting anything by Tony or Brian. If you know your pattern, I don't give a damn what it is. You can fix that guy right there in the blue sweatshirt on the other side of this building.
Right.
Because he has his arm too high, or he has his wrist too cupped, or his grip's too weak, right? Of course, I could say that about a lot of tour players, but I'm just saying,
for sure.
I think they confuse, especially some of the people that maybe were really poor teachers that got involved with a system or a method or whatever you want to call it, that they now teach better than they used to, and they think that validates that the stuff is like beyond reproach.
Right.
And I can tell you this right now, I've got video on my phone right here I was looking at when somebody was talking about ground reaction forces of how important they aren't, like to the decimal point of like how much external force is getting to the damn golf club. There's only one place in the world that even has that information. So everybody's stuff is shaky. My stuff, your stuff, everybody's stuff is a little bit shaky. And I would not definitely try to wake up every morning and fight the world with my little system that's been out there for 20 plus years or more and has not taken over yet. Because if anything was good 20 years ago, hey, I got on the internet and I didn't realize people were even talking about the golf swing. And I go to this website and they, message board. They were all message boards.
That back in
and
the
they were,
board
that's
days.
right. And they were talking about slicing this as you got to fix the over the top path. And I'm thinking, well, if your wrist is like this and the club's pointing like face at the ground, you might want to fix that first. I got thrown off of 3 forums arguing club face and twist away. Now, you can get that lesson from 5,000 people on the internet.
Right.
So it was an idea that was good enough to become, I'm not saying that I was the only person teaching, but I was the only person getting thrown off of websites teaching it. And now they got kids that we saw today that are in their 20s that are teachers at the seminar that are teaching slicers that don't even know where it came from. But the point is, it's stuck. If your stuff's been out there for 20 years and it hasn't stuck with the majority of people teaching Mr. Fabersham and Mrs. Haverkamp, it probably isn't as good as you think it is, whoever you are.
Well,
and that would include me.
I think there's a rash too of, I'd like your opinion on this. I think that some of these certifications and these trainings and things give young teachers, up and coming teachers, that you just said a minute ago that aren't that good yet. And they make them think that they're way further ahead than they are. And I see some of their Instagram posts, where they get like this, that, and the other. You got to, for these people that don't believe this or whatever, like, and I go back to, I mean, if you've never taught anybody that's any good and developed them, you probably shouldn't be. Just because you took a seminar and you've watched them a bunch doesn't mean you're good.
No, and
our mentors,
yeah,
Ben and Hank would have smacked us in the ass.
Yeah. And the other thing that's easy for people to confuse too is teaching on tour versus successfully teaching on tour.
Correct.
I know of people on tour, and you know more than I do because my guy graduated. Now I got guys that are not on tour yet.
Right.
But if you've had 40 or 50 different people come to you in the last 10 years and you're teaching 3 of them, that's not a good batting average.
Yeah.
I want to think about that. You talk about tour teacher versus not tour teacher. Just like you might want to think about this guy's been up the street with a full book at a terrible driving range for 10 years, and this guy's buddies with somebody that's a famous Instagram teacher.
Well, and I think
this guy's probably a better teacher than this guy.
I think you and I have talked. We've had numerous discussions off of the pod about tour players finding teachers. I think people like you with your information will have more tour pros access you than you would have before because you put a lot of great info out. I mean, I know that I get lots of good young up and coming players, which I've also, apart from having fun and all, I try to be introspective at times, and I try to think about like, what am I good at? What am I not good
100%,
at?
yeah,
And I think that like my best skill set is, I think what I do best, I'm not saying great, but what I do best for me is develop young players, right? And so because of the internet and a lot of it social media, I have more and more of those people come to me. And I'm the first one to tell you, like, look, I've been on tour a bunch and I've taught some of those guys that are out there. I wasn't as good at that as I was at getting young guys to the tour and then having them be successful.
It's a completely different skill
And I think
set.
it has to do with, I think some of it just has to do with, like, look, you build more loyalty in the younger ones, and I think they're more apt to listen versus...
Eczema isn't always obvious, but it's real. And so is the relief from Ebglyss. After an initial dosing phase, about 4 in 10 people taking Ebglyss achieved itch relief and clear or almost clear skin at 16 weeks. And most of those people maintain skin that's still more clear at 1 year with monthly dosing.
Ebglyss, lebrikizumab LBKZ, a 250 milligram per 2 milliliter injection, is a prescription medicine used to treat adults and children 12 years of age and older who weigh at least 88 pounds or 40 kilograms with moderate to severe eczema, also called atopic dermatitis, that is not well controlled with prescription therapies used on the skin or topicals, or who cannot use topical therapies. Ebglyss can be used with or without topical corticosteroids. Don't use if you're allergic to Ebglyss. Allergic reactions can occur that can be severe. Eye problems can occur. Tell your doctor if you have new or worsening eye problems. You should not receive a live vaccine when treated with Ebglyss. Before starting Ebglyss, tell your doctor if you have a parasitic infection.
Searching for real relief? Ask your doctor about Ebglyss and visit ebglyss.lilly.com or call 1-800-LILY-RX or 1-800-545-5979.
This summer, try the new Strato Frappuccino blended beverage at Starbucks. It's the classic blended iced coffee you know and love, now topped with a creamy layer of handcrafted brown sugar cold foam. Available for a limited time. Your Strato Frappuccino is ready at Starbucks.
Hey, this is Bill Simmons from the Bill Simmons Podcast, here to help you make the most of your summer with Michelob Ultra, a superior light beer worth playing for. Play for it with the guys when you're competing to see who can sink more birdies on the golf course, because winning tastes even better with Ultra on the line. Play for Ultra. Fill your fridge with Michelob Ultra this summer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025 Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
The Jack Welch Management Institute at Strayer University helps you go from, I know the way, to I've arrived with our top 10 ranked online MBA. Gain skills you can learn today and apply tomorrow. Get ready to go from make it happen to made it happen. And keep striving. Visit strayer.edu/JackWelchMBA to learn more. Strayer University is certified to operate in Virginia by Chev and has many campuses, including at 2121 15th Street North in Arlington, Virginia.
Right? and those things. And
well, and you're also way Leslie Miles. What's he doing right now? Riding up here and
hey, he's still got cash. I know that.
The ends are meeting like a mother. But my favorite Eddie Murphy.
Ogeron isn't doing bad either.
His ends are meeting too. That money spends good down on the bayou now, I tell you. But no, there's just an unbelievable desire for people to status quo, wherever it is. I had the best seat in the house for 40 years watching the club pro business. And, now everybody realizes it's crashing, right? I saw this coming for a long time. You know why? Because for 40 years, the best person got the job. When I knew 4 or 5 of the people that were applying for a certain job, and I saw who got the job. And then was proven right because it didn't go good. The best people got the job for the last 40 years in the club pro business, not 20% of the time.
I'd agree with that.
Okay, now, that killed the business. This is happening on tour now. The best person for that person is getting the job less than 20% of the time. You're recycling these teachers over and over and over again, and it's very easy if you're one of the 25 people that are at 25 tournaments to just, you can put a for lack of a better term, cock block on whoever you want to easily. And I know people, you take me and Jacobs out of I know other people that you think they would get more run. They're very well known. They've had some success with some players, and they're not getting all the run. Other people, they're not on tour.
Yeah, and I do know. I mean, I'm not out there as much. I don't have as much access to it as I used to, right? I do think it, I don't think it's a closed shop, but I do think that the ones that are out there all the time have way more access to it. And
well, who are they going to take a lesson from? They're going to take a lesson from a guy that they can get a hold of the next day.
Correct. And they want, they want, like, if they hit it like shit on Tuesday, they want to be able somebody to take a look at them, and I think it's just, but I think that we're going to shift away from that. I really do.
I think it's going to hurt. I think what I was saying, and the point I was making, is it's the same thing's going to happen to tour teaching that's happened to the club pro business.
Right.
There's going to be like 10 big tour teachers instead of 30, and then the bottom's going to fall out. Like, there's less people going to tournaments now than there was before COVID.
Like, so I know that, when I first started going out there all the time, first with Lee Williams and then with Smiley and Bobby Wyatt and those guys, there's way less of them now than there was in 2019, 18, 19.
Because they're sending swings,
well, and I also just think that, like, I think at a certain point, like, people like you or me, like, we can make as much money sitting at home teaching.
You're getting paid all the time.
Right?
People don't want to hear the tour players sometimes.
Tough.
I
mean, it's tough deal, right? Guys like Mark and Scotty and those guys have structured it really well and do really well. I was never and am not quite as good on the business end with it, but I do great. I have some guys take great care of me. But, like, again, I've tried to shift my teaching back to what I'm good at and not step into the lanes where, like, I don't think I'm as good as a quick fix guy. I just don't think that's my specialty. And I don't think that makes me a bad teacher.
Heck no.
Right? I think I'm pretty good at developing folks. But, like, but I think there's guys that are better at tweakers out there. Like Scotty would be a guy that likes to tweak things. And then I think there's guys that are more developmental and stuff. So, yeah. But I think it's going the other way.
Yeah, it's going the other way because at the end of the day, the poor guy, you could tell now, like when Roy was struggling with his backswing, he literally has no idea who to call outside of the people he sees every time he goes to a tournament. And if anybody thinks that those 25 to 40 guys max, it's more like 25, or the best 25 teachers in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying a couple of them aren't in the top 25.
Right. No.
I'm not talking about the Golf Digest. I'm talking about the list only the man upstairs knows.
Right.
No chance. It's just whoever hears this takes that the wrong way. Too bad. I'm just saying there hasn't been a whole lot of new talent for this happened before now.
I think you got some newer stuff coming out now. I think you got some newer guys people have found. I know that John Scott Rattan's gotten,
He's gotten a few guys
doing a nice job.
Yeah.
And
it's going to happen because it happened not 20 years ago, but like 15 years ago when all that Ledbetter era all got old at the same time. And then one day I was at a tournament and I was one of the oldest guys there instantly, just like that. Well, I never felt like I was one of the oldest guys.
I remember when I was going out with Smiley, I felt like I was the young guy out there, right? I go out there now, I mean, I'm one of the old guys, right?
Oh, totally.
Yeah, I mean, shit, I feel like it. I'm 53 circling the drain. But I think it's coming the other way because that's to me why like doing stuff like this has become important to me. And
because they watch.
People watch this.
I'm not talking down to the tour players. How would y'all know? You're going to ask another teacher and you're going to get my name? No chance. There's absolutely no chance of that happening. And you know one of the reasons why not? Because I can't teach. That's not the reason you're getting. Don't take a lesson from Brian or don't go to Long Island and get measured by Jacobs and that. You're getting it because it might upset the apple cart if we had a little run. I just want one more run as far as tour goes. I just want one more run just because I think I'm good at it and I want to stuff it down a couple people's throat. That's it. It's just like a player that would have made a bunch of money when he was in his 20s and 30s. And you go, why is he still out there and he's 45 years old? Why don't he just go, travel with his wife and then turn 50 and go? Because he thinks he can beat those guys one more time. And that's the way I feel. I feel like it's a closed shop. And I felt that way about seminars. When I was young, I said, man, I'd be just as good on that stage as those guys. And, man, you couldn't get a run.
Yeah.
But now I'm at these things all the time because it turns out I'm halfway decent at it. And, the business is sort of rudderless right now, but I think that's going to change. I think you're going to have some of these outfits. You saw that the good guys got $48 million of investment money.
Crazy, isn't it?
Well, but that just shows you there needs to be some more golf media. I'm not saying the ones that are out there, the legacy guys, aren't good at what they do. They're all friends of ours. But there needs to be more. Like, for instance, we're talking about golf instruction. This is a golf instruction podcast. It's the worst covered thing in the whole wide world.
Right.
Nobody knows anything. If you don't have firsthand knowledge of what's going on, you would never know who's really working with somebody, who somebody's listening to, who the person who's the new, John Scott Rattan, right? I've heard his name a few times. Well, who's this? Where did he get his information from, right? He didn't invent it on the street. Who's it? If somebody was actually covering the subject, I'd know everything about them.
Right. I agree.
I don't know. There's some pretty big name guys. I don't want to name any of them. They have if you search them on the internet, from the day that they showed up when everybody knew who they were, to now, you can get all the information you want. But if you want to know something about them before they were out there, it's like the information doesn't exist. It's like the JFK files.
Right.
I want to know where this guy was 5 years before he was on tour.
One of the things I've tried to
I know where you were 5 years before you were on tour.
Yeah.
I could search on the internet to say he was working for Hager. He was at
one thing I've tried to do is I've tried to use this medium and platform to showcase people that I think are good at what they do, right? And I think the more that is top teachers, if you will, or people with voices, the more we can highlight those, the more people know about good stuff. And the less chance you have of somebody that really cares about getting better going to a shyster, right? The more we can educate.
Well, and there are people out there, I won't name any names, but y'all can fill in the blanks if y'all want to, who I know personally that really aren't on tour right now. So let's think it. None of these guys we were just mentioning. Zero of these guys. But they're really well known. They've had 100 people you've heard of. They come work with them. And they've had zero almost success. But they're still a big name, weirdly. I guarantee you, if 3 people came to me, and none of them got better, and they were names, I'm done on that level. I can give Mr. Favsham all lessons in one. Nobody that level is ever coming to me again. And this particular person I'm thinking of has had 100 people that I've heard of with not credentials. No, my mom who's 94 and in assisted living, she's heard of them. And you know what I mean? It's like, at some point, wouldn't somebody think maybe it's not that good an idea? He's really calmed down a lot, but just saying, you know, it was never based on anything. It was never, what was it based on? It was cool for 5 minutes. I mean, it wasn't really based on they can actually help somebody hit the ball better over a long period of time and win tournaments. You know, and at the end of the day, if you're teaching really high-level players, your only job is to get them to play better. That's it. That's it. And
Right.
you might just rub their neck. If that works,
It means you're doing good.
that means you're doing good.
Brian, awesome stuff as always.
Always.
Hey, thanks for all the friendship too over the years. We've done
Thanks
this a long
for
time.
having me here. No, this
You're the best.
one of the best guys here, right? Look at, there's real people and there's fake people. These are two real people, but this is a good person, right?
You're the best.
All right, Tony.